We stayed a month in Istanbul for some slow travel. Slow travel enabled us to explore the city, culture and cuisine in greater detail and at a comfortable pace.
In this video, we will talk about what we did in Istanbul and how much it cost us. Inflation has been on the rise in Turkiye. On a monthly basis, it's about 4%, and on an annual basis, as of September 2024, it is about 60%. Therefore, cost has been escalating. Turkiye is no longer the low-cost country that it was before. However, it is still cheaper than Singapore.
Stay to the end of the video to find out how much it cost us for this 31-day stay.
We did slow travel in Bangkok and Tokyo, and we were looking for somewhere in Europe to do our next destination.
We visited Istanbul about 12 years ago, and we went on a guided tour at that time, and we really loved it. They brought us all around Turkey to see like Cappadocia, Ephesus, Cotton Castle, everywhere. But we also loved Istanbul, and that's why we decided to do another trip here just to focus on Istanbul and really deep dive into this city.
Yeah, we love the culture here and we love the food. Therefore, it is definitely a place that we wanted to visit again. We stayed at an apartment in Cihangir. It is a very nice apartment. There were 2 rooms, a living space, as well as a kitchen.
Yeah, we had a friend that was joining us for about 2 weeks out of the month. So the extra room really made it a lot easier for us.
We love the living space because there were ample space for us to relax in. It is one of the criteria that we had when we were selecting for the apartment to stay. Given that it is a 1-month stay, we wanted to make sure that we are very comfortable. Having a living area as well as a kitchen.
And a washing machine.
Yeah, a washing machine is very important to us. Our apartment is in an ideal location because apart from being in Cihangir, it was also very near to this pedestrian shopping area that is popular in Istanbul. It is in the Taksim area called Istiklal Caddesi.
Which means, Caddesi means street basically.
Avenue actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this avenue has a lot of eateries, shops, as well as cafes. Therefore, it's really ideal for us.
It was full of energy. I think from morning to probably even
almost
midnight.
24 hours, yeah.
Yeah, you'll see tons of pedestrians walking along the street, just enjoying the atmosphere. It's really nice.
Yes.
We like 人气, so this one had a lot of 人气.
Yep. Our selection criteria for the location included proximity to the gym, as well as to a transport hub or transport mode. Therefore, it is something that we were very conscious of when I was making the selection.
Yeah, so she did a bit of research and we found 2 gyms that are very close by. On the first day, we went to check them out and then decided on one that we felt was nicer and which was just about 2-3 minutes walk away from our apartment. Transportation, it was a metro.
I think we were in between metro, tram and also buses. These were readily, easily available within maybe a 10 to maximum 15 minutes walk, and so therefore I think the location was pretty good. So how did I search for the apartments? First, I look at Airbnb listings, and then I also look at Facebook community groups. So these are the options that I was going for because for long stay options, I would not look for hotels because that would be a bit difficult given that we needed a living space and we needed kitchen.
And it would be too expensive to stay at hotels for such a long time.
Correct. And you are also able to negotiate for long-term stay package with the host. Therefore, I would recommend that you look at all these options. But of course, you have to make your due diligence, read reviews, find out more about the host, and then try to see whether you can get more information about the location as well as the accommodation before you make the decision. Let's talk about the place that we stay in, which is Cihangir. Cihangir can be described as a bohemian artsy place where there are a lot of cafes, bakeries, and even supermarkets. There are also many fruit stores and convenience stores dotted around the area. So getting our amenities, getting our groceries is actually pretty easy. There are art shop and also antique shop around the area. Therefore, it is actually a very, very nice, cool place to walk around.
So what did we do in Istanbul? Basically, firstly we ate a lot. We really went deep dive into the cuisine of Istanbul. Before visiting, I think there were so many different types of Turkish food that was very confusing. But after being there for a month, I think it was a lot easier.
Yeah, we now know how to differentiate the different types of kebabs, the different types of meat
Breads
that we call.
and all that.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting experience. So we ate a lot, of course. I mean, we have to eat breakfast, lunch and dinner, and well, at least 2 meals a day.
And also for content creation, right? So that we can show that to you guys.
Yeah.
We also did some cultural stuff like watch shows. We watched the Twirling Dervish, which is of course something that's very popular in Istanbul.
Basically, well, it's a religious dance.
Yeah, it's a religious dance, very interesting. I think the production is very well done, very professional and in comfortable setting. So that was a good one. The same company also did a traditional folk dance. We went to that as well.
And it was very nice. They showed the different type of dance that they have in Turkey, and some of them were really pretty mesmerizing.
When you're in Istanbul, you have to take a Turkish bath, right?
Yeah.
We went to one...
It's supposed to be the oldest Turkish bath in Istanbul. I think it was built in 1454.
I don't know, because we went to one 12 years ago in the previous visit.
And they also say they were the oldest.
The oldest, everyone seems to be the oldest, right? But they're all very old, several hundred years old. The last one we went was the usual proper Turkish bath where men on one side and ladies on the other. But the one that we went to this time,
it's a mixed one.
It's a mixed one in the sense that initially it is mixed, but later they split up the male and female.
Well, the part where you lie down on the what do you call the stone, and the heated stone,
like a sauna, that was mixed.
That will be mixed.
So you have to bring your bathing suits for that. But later, when they actually scrub you, they actually put you in separate rooms.
Yeah. So the experience is definitely very worthwhile. If you are in Istanbul or Turkiye, make sure that you go for a Turkish bath. Other than that, we did a lot of chilling. We were in cafes quite a lot of times, almost like daily. We went to a cafe, chill and drink the pistachio latte, which is something that we really love. And they really make very good pistachio latte.
Yeah, I think in Istanbul, the cafe culture is really very strong. So many cafes everywhere, different prices as well. I think of course, the traditional Turkish coffee is something that we enjoyed. We bought, I guess, packs of Turkish coffee grounds and tried to make it back in the apartment as well. That was quite interesting. Of course, they have the usual espresso cafes and all that. I think our favorite was this cafe called Kahve Dünyası, because that's where we discovered the pistachio latte. They also have a hazelnut latte, which is very good as well.
Yeah, that's something that we will not forget. Apart from cafes, of course, we went for sightseeing. Even though we have been to Istanbul before, but we also wanted to check out more of it. Went to a couple of malls, and it was a very nice experience. We also went to a Sistan, as well as to the museum. The
Archaeological Museum of Istanbul. Of course, Istanbul is very historical. Part of it used to be Constantinople, full of history and I guess full of battles previously as well. So a lot of interesting things to see in the museum. Beside the museum, there was this park called Gulhane Park. That was actually previously like the grounds of a palace. Later it was opened up to the public, so that was a nice one to visit.
We like to chill in parks. Sit down there and watch the day go by.
We visited a lot of neighborhoods. In Istanbul, of course, like Singapore, is broken down into various neighborhoods. Beşiktaş is a very interesting neighborhood because it's like a university town. So there's a lot of young energy. They have this very popular soccer team that is like, I guess, one of the top three within in Istanbul.
In Turkiye, is it?
In Turkiye. And when we went, I think it was like a pre-game celebration going on because they were going to have a match like in the evening. So we went there. There was a lot of celebration, a lot of fans dressed up in their jerseys. The bad part about that was when we were trying to go back, all the public transport was like rerouted and all that, so we had to walk.
Yeah, we had to walk back.
Yeah.
And luckily it was only about 2 to 3 kilometers.
I think when we walked back, we were walking in the same direction as the fans as they went to the stadium. So it was really a great atmosphere. All the fans were like
it felt like
cheering
the
and
scene
everything.
of The Purge, the movie The Purge.
I would say it's very high energy. They had flares lit.
Yeah.
They were like singing, I guess, Turkish cheer songs.
Some of the other neighborhoods that we visited included Balat, which was very nice. We loved the colorful architecture of the houses there. And I think we went to various neighborhoods just to take a look and walk around. All this gave us a better understanding of what Istanbul is.
Yeah, and of course we didn't stay just on the European side. When you're in Istanbul, you definitely need to take the ferry to the Asian side. I think the ferry in itself is an experience. Getting to sail along the Bosphorus is something that everyone should do.
Yeah.
Some of you may know that the Bosphorus basically separates Asia and Europe. Istanbul basically straddles two continents, right? So you're traveling from Europe to Asia to visit some of the neighborhoods. That was very interesting.
Yeah.
I think neighborhoods like Kadıköy, like Üsküdar,
Yeah.
that was quite nice.
And the ferry rides were pretty short. It's about 25 minutes long. So therefore, it makes a very nice
Pleasant
ride.
transportation, yeah.
And the other thing that we did was a day trip. We made a day trip to Bursa, which was about 3 hours away. We took a ferry and a bus after that to Bursa. It was a pretty easy journey. It wasn't difficult, and we saw another city that is somewhat like a smaller version of Istanbul. So Bursa had a mosque and they had a grand bazaar. They had some shops and a cafe. It was pretty nice. We also visited the tomb of Osman Ghazi.
I think the area of where the tomb was located was quite nice. It was actually on I guess the top of a hill. So there was actually a vantage point where you can see a very, very panoramic view of Bursa. So that's very nice. We also witnessed, I think, a changing of the guard. So they were all decked out in the traditional Turkish like warrior attire, and then carrying the swords and everything, and then doing a changing of the guard. So that was interesting as well.
Since we are in Bursa, we have to try Iskandar Kebab. Bursa is the birthplace of Iskandar Kebab. We went to this place where we had a very, very delicious meal.
So Iskandar Kebab is basically like doner kebab, sliced very thin. They put it on a plate. They don't put it inside a wrap or whatever. They pour like melted boiling butter on top of it, and then they serve it with yogurt.
Yeah.
There is a layer of bread at the bottom, I guess, to soak up all the nice flavors, but it was really nice.
Yeah, we went to this restaurant that supposedly serves the best Iskandar Kebab in Bursa, and we really loved it very much.
I think we loved it so much that we ate Iskandar kebabs quite a few times while we were in Istanbul.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
How much did 1 month in Istanbul cost us? Let us first look at accommodation. For the accommodation, we had a friend that came along for a few weeks, and this cost is split amongst 3 people. That works out to be Singapore dollars 540 per person. And for dining, we ate mainly in casual restaurants with
sidewalk eateries as well.
Yeah.
Even tablecloth proper restaurants, and even higher end than that as well.
Yeah. So for the casual restaurants that serve like the wrap, the durum, it will be about 150 to 350 Turkish lira. The price depends on the location as well as the popularity of the eatery. And then for sit-down restaurants, the price will be around 1,000 to 2,000 Turkish lira per person. And for upscale restaurant that we went to, which was a Salt Bay restaurant, it will be about 2,000 to 3,000 Turkish lira. So in total, dining cost us 1,050 Singapore dollars per person. For wellness and entertainment, what we did was a Turkish bath. We had 2 culture shows, as well as the gym membership and the protein supplements. So this few items cost us 400 Singapore dollars per person.
The gym membership for that month already costs us $160 per person. The supplements in Istanbul are expensive, especially for international brands. So you can buy their local in-house brands, which are a lot cheaper.
Yeah. For grocery and shopping, we bought mainly snacks and Turkish Delights. So Turkish Delights was one of the bulk of our purchases when we were in Istanbul, given that we wanted to try the different brands, and we also brought back some. And so our total spend for grocery and shopping was 250 Singapore dollars per person. For transport, we took bus, ferry, tram and metro.
And also walked sometimes.
Yeah, and our legs. And this cost also include a day trip to Bursa, as well as the transport to and from the airport. This was 95 Singapore dollars per person. So the total cost of a 1-month stay in Istanbul was about Singapore dollars 2,400 per person, or US 1,800 per person. And this cost does not include airfare. We also didn't include travel insurance because we already have our own annual travel insurance plans. I hope this video has piqued your interest on the trip to Istanbul.
We'll be sharing some videos about our experiences in Istanbul and what we ate there as well. We hope you like them.
So do watch out for these videos. Thank you for watching this video.
If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
Ring the notification bell below so that you will be notified of our new videos, and watch our other videos here.
See you in the next video.